All right, welcome back to Learn Young, Learn Fair. This is episode 6. We've been moving around, we've been moving and shaking. Hopefully, you guys are seeing the shorts that we're posting up on Facebook. If you haven't already, please like the channel. We thank you guys in this short period of time for the support that we've gotten. Truly appreciate it. But with that being said, Big Sean, what's good with you, fam?
Man, Randolph, we're back, baby.
We're
We're back,
back.
man.
What's
Yeah,
good? What's been going on with you?
man. Life, man. Life been lifing, and like, but not in a bad way. You know, when people be like, man, life be life. Like, no, it's like everything that we want this podcast to be about. Like, I'm experiencing that, throughout the day with my kids, with co-workers and stuff, to give, to be able to give them an opportunity to experience like what I hope this podcast does. A few laughs, a few jokes, but hopefully, it hits somebody and they like, man, I remember I heard, blah blah blah, whatever it is. But like right before we got on here, man, you was having a conversation with your son, and he was just
I
like,
was.
giving you bad news after bad news after bad news, and
Mhm.
I overheard it, but I was gonna let you finish doing the dad thing or whatever, but you know, so what I would say to that, right, is like for a big chunk of my life, it was always bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, right,
Mhm.
and I made it worse by professing and claiming that this is bad news, right? Like this is just like shit. Hey, because I think he said so and so was holding on to the receipts for this, that, and the third, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So from that, it got lost or whatever, and he can't claim that or whatever the case might be. But and he's like, and bad news, bad. I'm sitting there like, that ain't bad news. That's what this podcast is about. Learn young, learn fair. I bet you next time you hold on to your own receipts, right? I bet you
Yeah.
next time that everything that you delegated to deal with your life, you take more responsibility for that. But like,
Let me
yeah, I learned.
clarify this so everybody kind of knows what we're talking about. So one, because I know my oldest son checks this out. We're talking about my middle son, Antonio. He just moved from California to Colorado. So right before Christmas, I flew out there, help him move. He just got out of the military, just completed his enlistment. And when you do that, you get the military pays for you to move. Now they can move you, they can get movers and yada yada yada, or you can move yourself and then they'll reimburse you. Right. But obviously, if they're going to reimburse you, you got to have all your receipts, mileage, weight, all the little things that you have to have. So I was asking him now that he's out of the military, and some of you that may be in or have may gotten out already, it's a little bit of process, and sometimes that takes a little bit before you get your money. So I was asking him, hey, has he gotten paid for all of his stuff post military? And that's where he was saying that, hey, some of the stuff that he's supposed to get paid for, he may not because, like Sean said, somebody was supposed to be holding his receipts and it looks like that may have got lost. One of the vehicles was supposed to get weighed. It looks like that didn't happen. But like you said, very valuable point. Um,
Learn
he
young, learn fair.
delegated it to somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is your responsibility, right? Like I look at it like, hey man, God's blessing you to pay for this move because everybody
Yeah.
can't afford to move cross country. So hey man, I'm gonna take care of that, but you're gonna have to do some work. You ain't hold on no receipts. You ain't make shit. So you can't get mad when the shit, when somebody fumbles
Goes a little
because
left.
they not concerned about your life as much as you should be about yours. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
them my
so
receipts. I need these because I'm the one that's got to get paid or pay for this.
and this is his grandparents-in-law. And again, no diss. Like Sean said, at the end of the day, yeah, it really does more than anybody fall on Antonio because they're not getting paid from this. This is so they're
Yeah, it's
helping
not
him.
high on my priority list. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I don't.
my bad, bro. Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm doing a favor.
No, I'm doing a
Yeah, yeah,
favor.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like it's like if I help you move and we bang a sofa, like, bro, I didn't want to help you in the fucking first place, bro. Like, I only do. Listen, the answer will forever and ever be no, right? That'll be the answer. I do it because I fucks with you. But don't bitch at me if I drop the leg off the bottom of the sofa. Like, bitch, I don't even want to be here. Like,
yeah.
so if anybody like comes to help me, like yard work and moving other people's shit. Like, man, this ain't even my
Oh,
shit. And then you
there's
be
nothing
walking
I
around
hate
that
more.
house, you be like, why do you have so much shit? Like, what's because you don't want to do it. But certain people, I do it because I fucks with you, right? But don't ask me. Just be like, hey man, I'm moving, and I'm like, all right, man, I got you. But don't be like, hey man, do you want to? No, I don't want to. I never want to, but
Yeah,
I help you move, right?
that's always the toughest one because
Moving
there has
sucks,
never
bro.
been somebody moving where I was like, and let me say, I just obviously went to go help my middle son move, and he moved closer to me, so obviously I was excited about that. But the process of moving, did I want to help him? No. And there's a whole story in the process
No,
of
listen, we're
getting.
gonna hey, we don't sugarcoat shit. I'm gonna give you the whole like from what I've seen through my eyes, right, of that situation, right? Because it happened to me like the day before, but you was asking God for a better relationship with your middle child, right?
Yeah,
Like to,
absolutely.
to become closer, to build that bond, you know. So God said, bet, but you gonna put in some work for this. So my man here, dad of the year, Superman, goes
Oh
to
no, that is wrong.
goes to San Diego to help his son move. I applaud you for that. I don't want to help my son move, and he lived with me. I was like, just get your shit and get out. You lived here, and I didn't want to help you pick that fucking shit up. But you went cross country to go, hey, you're a better man than me. So when he got there, when you say, hey man, help me move, I'm thinking, grab some boxes, the sofa, the bed, shit like that, on the truck, we out. 4 hours max. You got there and the fucking dishes were still in the dishwasher. Like they didn't think you was coming. Like, oh shit, you here already? Like, what the dishes, like everything. So in my eyes, it was like God was saying, you're going to spend this time, and this is what's going to give you an opportunity to spend this time. Because if you got there and everything was packed and they just sitting there waiting on you, that cuts into that bonding time.
So I'm gonna give you two stories with that. One, so me and my oldest son, the one you hear me talk about, he actually watches the show. Um, we are more similar. We have more things in common. Just naturally, we're both big fans of sports. So we talk just about every day. And I say just about, but we talk every day. We talk, and most days it's multiple times, both sports and things going on in life. Me and my middle son, and again, the love is the same, but we don't have as much in common. So a lot of times when we're talking, it is not necessarily as much he, kiki, yada, yada, yada. It's more dad things, right? So advice that doesn't always go as great. So we don't talk as much. So one of the things I've been trying to actively work on is having a better relationship. So just to kind of give you some background, I have 4 kids, little kind of strange situation, but 3 older. So my oldest is about to turn 30, and then so yeah, getting up there. So and then out of that group, my youngest is a sophomore in college. So she's literally halfway through her sophomore year in college. And then I also have an 11-month-old. So there's obviously a big gap between my about to be 20-year-old. So she'll turn 20 this year, and my youngest, who's 11 months, who her birthday's next month. Um, so in that, me and my oldest son are probably the closest in terms of talking every day. My middle son, kind of a weird situation because you have a older brother that's closer with his dad, and then behind you is the only girl. Well, the only girl in that trio for most of your life. So obviously, the only girl got a lot of attention, and then there's a boy older than you that shares more things with dad. So he was literally, that Malcolm in the middle. He was the middle child, probably in every way. So it was something that I wanted to be intentional on making sure that we are closer. Cool part with that is he does live now the closest to me of all of my children, obviously outside of the 11-month old, who is upstairs right now. So I do think this is a opportunity for us to bond, for us to do some things, especially without the older brother that, like I said, I am probably much more in tune with in terms of things that we like.
Yeah. So like when you told me that, I was laughing and it was hilarious. But at the end of the day, it was like you
You got to
remember
earn it.
you asked for this, right? You got to earn it. Like I'm
Yeah,
not just
yeah,
gonna zap you with some warm, fuzzy fit. Like no, you want this, you got to work for it. I'm doing the same with my kids. Like they be into some shit, and I be like, man, I'm 45, man. Like I don't know what the fuck, like
yeah,
anime, and I'm like, bro, I don't. But
yeah,
I try because it's like shit, man. I remember looking for that when I was younger too. So, and
yeah,
then not knowing how to be that because you never saw, you know what I'm saying? You never saw that, so you just act the same way that you were treated most of the time. But now it's like, hey, man, you get to be the parent you want to be, or you get to be the big brother you want, not what you saw. Like you get to choose that. Like you get to
yeah.
be the husband that you want to be, not just, well, my dad used to slap the shit out of my mama, so I guess I got to slap this one. Like you ain't got to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't I'm an alcoholic because my dad. You don't have to do that. Like so.
Yeah, I think that's a tough part for kids because whatever you've seen in your house growing up, for you, that's what's normal. To break some of those, and we've talked many, many years about generational curses, and this probably is a good place for us to even talk about that here. But to break some of those things is hard, right? The facts are, and I'm not going to say facts because I've not looked this up, but I'm fairly certain that most guys, most young men who saw their dads abuse their mom, you're probably more likely to abuse your wife because for you, that's normal. Same as a girl who grew up in a house where a dad abused the mom, you're probably more likely to be abused and accept that because that's normal. That's not even, that's
That's
normal.
all. That's life. That's all you know.
So there are two sides to that coin, right? You should not be beholden to any curse that you saw, anything that you saw. And that's tough, right? And I think we both dealt with this in our life personally, right? We have our own struggles with things that we saw growing up that are not necessarily we know wrong or we didn't like, but sometimes, like you talked about, you being a young parent and taking on some of the traits that you didn't like from your stepdad as you became a young parent because that's all you know. You
Yeah.
hated it as a kid, but that's all I know of parenting.
All right. Then you start to think like, man, life sucks if I got to be like this all the time. And then you actually get out there and experience life and be like, you telling me I don't have to whip my kid's ass? Like we can try another
Yeah,
method, or I don't have to. Buddy, listen. When I was younger, and it's like I had kids at 16, and then I got married and had another one, so I got both kids in the house, and it's like, okay, you are the dad, you are the husband, you are like my mind immediately went to, all right, I need these tiles folded a certain way. And don't do that in the dish. Like I just was repeating every fucking thing that was
that you
funneled in. And then when you have another person involved who was raised a different way from what you were raised, when them two clash, it's like, yo, it's my way or the highway. Well, it's my way. You're too young to fucking understand how to like break that curse. Like
yeah.
you don't have to live like this. You get to choose whatever kind of life you want. So when I was like life be lifing, that's what I was meaning. Like life is like it's like it's like the past since 18 to 45, right? It's like everything that you think you knew is shit. No, it's different. It's
Let me give a little. grace to our parents as well,
Oh,
because
100%. Yes, yes, yes.
they were figuring out life, right? I mean, when
And
I
I hate
was
to cut you
talking to
off,
my middle
right?
son. Mhm.
I hate to cut, but before I forget this, it's like they, if you watch your parents from the first child to the last child, you will see, hopefully, damn it, if you're going through life and experiencing life, then that's going to affect your life too, your parents, because you're going to see like, and every kid in that house gets parented differently from your first one
Yeah.
to your fourth one, because you, if you love your kids, you be like, damn, I fucked up with this one because
Mhm.
my first go round, like, I disciplined too much, or I didn't show enough love. And then the second one, all right, I'm not going to do that. And then they get, what they didn't get. And then but that one's looking for, and then by you get to the fifth one and you just hope, like, man, I did the best that I could. Like, if I had a kid now at 45, I'd be a completely different parent because I'm a completely different human being. I've grown and matured and learned lessons throughout the last, since 16 to 45.
I absolutely, the first child, you are figuring it out. And I
Figuring
literally,
it the fuck out, right?
my middle son, is soon expecting a child. And I said, listen, the only advice I can really give you is try,
Try.
try. You
Like,
know, be
like
there, love your child.
if there's one thing I would tell a parent, like, I can't tell you, how to raise it, but I would say, listen, do not discipline your child if you are angry. Do not,
Yes.
because that image a 3 or 4 year old sees you, like, they go cool off, and then when you do discipline the child, hey, this is why this has to happen. Like, you can still whip that ass, but this is why this has to happen. Not like you spilled the milk and you go into a rage and they're going to be fucking terrified of milk. Like, I don't even want a cup of milk.
Yeah.
That's
I
that
think,
trauma
yeah,
that you deal with.
doing that, whatever your philosophy is, on, there's the spare the rod, spoil the child, or if you're a non-disciplinary, whatever you're doing in terms of discipline, yes, take that break. Listen, I am now on my fourth child, and I will tell you that yeah, I have definitely been angry at something my child has done. And if you're at that point, hey, step away till you can calm down. One, so that you can explain to your kid what it is they've done, right? And I'll tell you, I come from a house, and I know Shaun does as well, where whoopings were the norm. 80s, 90s, that's how we grew up. Whippings were the norm. And sometimes you get whooped like, wait a minute, I don't even know. There's no lesson here because I don't even know what I did wrong. I'm
Right.
just
Like,
getting whooped. So
I'm just getting whooped.
I'm focusing on hey, I got whooped. I'm not even focusing on and let me say this. I'm a person of, I, yelling, yada, yada, doesn't bother me. When you tell me, hey, you've disappointed me, or I've done, and internally, and I'm like, damn, that's when it affects me. That's when you'll see change. Hey, I'm just whooping you. I don't even know what I did.
Yeah, the
I'm more
answer
mad
wears
that you
off.
whooped me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just thinking about the fact that I got whooped over this.
Yeah. And then
So,
whatever it is you got whipped over, if there's no explanation, you don't want to be anywhere around that thing because you're like, I might get another fucking
right.
whooping. Like, so, and then you take that to your kids and it's like, damn, you
Yes.
gotta break that. You gotta break that.
And this is where I say, and I will say this both from my current occupation and as a parent, I would much rather be respected than feared. Fear only lasts as long as you're physically present, right? So I'll say this, and let me just clarify this so we can get past this. I am in the military. I only say this because I have to be very mindful of what I say. And I also then have to caveat it with anything I say does not represent the Department of Defense or Department of War. So I can we'll get past that.
For those at
But
home, he ain't no regular Navy dude.
here
All
we
right,
go. We don't have to
because
do all this.
a regular Navy dude wouldn't have said this shit. So he's up there. So he's up.
But the bigger point is, I would much rather, as a leader, like I said, as a dad, as a husband and as a military leader, I'd much rather you respect me, meaning that you want to do right by me. Right,
Right.
you don't want to disappoint me. Right, there was a point in time, and I lived a good portion of my life with just my mother, and my mother's smaller. My mother is much, there's a point when, especially as a young teen boy, you start to smell yourself a little bit. And you're like, man, I ain't worried about my mom. Physically, she
Right.
can't whoop me. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing at that point that is making me not just wow is, but I don't want my mom to be disappointed in me. Right.
Right.
So I would much rather be respected and you say, damn, I don't want dad or the military leader. I don't want them to be disappointed in me. Not I'm scared of them because again, and when I am in a place, and I'll use this with my kids, where it's more fear than respect. Well, what happens when I deploy? Now my kids are wilding out because dad's not here no more. I know dad can't get to me.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
got I,
I'd
I got
much
a, I
rather you
got a, I
say,
got a 6 month
hey,
lead time. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I'd much rather you say, hey, I don't want dad to be mad at me. I don't want dad to be disappointed in me versus, ooh, I'm scared of dad and dad whooping me.
See.
I want to, and I didn't always do this great, but I want to be able to have those conversations and say, hey, let me explain why that was wrong, why you shouldn't have done that, why I'm disappointed. Not I'm acting off of, oh, I'm mad because you brought an F home in a school, in a class, and you don't even understand, right? And I think if our parents had maybe explained that to us a little bit better, maybe we would have taken that as, hey, this affects your future, right? I got whooped for getting bad grades, and then I didn't get it's the learn young, learn fair. I didn't fully understand the lesson until, oh, wait a minute, I'm a senior. I don't have any prospects on life.
So 100%. And like you're in the middle. So I'll give you a little quick story. And like I said, now that I'm 45, I was like, yeah, I probably deserved that one, right? Like I needed that. I needed that ass whooping, right? So, you know, stepfather's in the military. He go out to sea for 6 months. I got to be like 14, 15. I'm like, I'm I'm fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm like you feel like you a man now. And then you
Yeah,
know
you're the
my
man of the
my
house.
my mama come up to like hear on me, and I'm like, what you gonna do? But I never put my hands on it. The threat of discipline was not at the
There
house.
anymore.
So
Yeah.
so, but little did I know that the entire time that I was wilding out for those 6 months, she was writing stepfather, letting them know what I was doing. I'm thinking I'm over here like, oh, my mom ain't gonna tell on me. I mean, writing letters. So bam, the 6 months is up. In my mind, here come this asshole come home. That's in my mind, right? So 1994 NBA playoffs, the finals was on. The New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets. I listen.
I'll
I
let you
remember.
know.
I remember this ass whooping to this day. To this day.
Was out.
He's sitting on the couch with my mom. I knew how the TV. I remember this shit. I was 14. He said, "Hey, do me a favor. Go in my sea bag and bring me that brown envelope." I'm thinking maybe he got me a gift or something. Maybe he all right after all. I go get the fucking envelope, give it to him. Pull it out. It's the letters that my mother had wrote about what I was doing, and I'm just standing there like, and I'm looking at my mama like, you backstabbing motherfucker. But hold on, it gets better. So he said, yeah, why don't you go ahead on in the room and wait for me? I already know you finna get that ass whooping. It's coming. Finna get this ass whooping. Knock at the door. I said, oh, God save me. It's his buddy. His buddy, he's in the Navy with came by to ask him, did he want to go watch the game, the finals game. I'm like, it's the finals. You gonna go watch the game? He said, no, man, I got something at the house I got to handle. What the fuck's got to be handled? I'm like, God, you ain't even gonna go watch the game? Cuban really brewing about this ass whooping. So, shit. But I got the ass whooping. And I was like, man, this is some bullshit. But if I wouldn't have got that ass whooping right then and there, and she would have never told, I'd have continued on through life wilding out. But there's no consequence to me acting a complete motherfucking ass. Like, and it's more of an ass to act once you leave the house. Now you got freedom to act an ass. Like, you can only do so much acting an ass in your mama's house. Chicks ain't coming over, you not drinking it. You got your own place, and you out there in the real world, you can act an ass, and that might cost you. So, like, yeah, I needed that ass whooping because maybe that ass whooping that one right there was the saving grace for me doing life in prison or killing somebody in a DUI or whatever the case may be. So I believe in I don't believe in that spirit. I believe in ass whooping when it's warranted, not as the only means of discipline. Like,
and that's what I would say to everybody, and as I talked to my middle son, he talked about let me say this. My older three grew up, they did not get spanked. I was not a spanker. I got whoopings my whole life. I hated them. I wanted to try something different. But it's funny, and this is funny because as we drive from San Diego to Colorado, this drive that we talked about in the beginning, my son actually mentioned that he is going to whoop his kids for this very reason that I didn't whoop him. And he said, because I felt that I wilded out because there was no major physical thing stopping me. Hey, dad's going to yell. I'm going to get grounded. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool, whatever.
I can deal with it. I done did it 3 times already. It ain't no thing.
Yeah. And I thought that was really dope. One, for him to recognize that. But I thought, listen to me.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish it.
No, that was it.
The groundings today ain't the groundings we had.
Yeah.
Buddy, when I got grounded, there was no phone, no TV. I had a beeper. Who the fuck I can't do nothing with a beeper. Like, that kind of grounding, no phone, no TV, no outside, no nothing. Like, these kids, they get grounded. Well, I need my phone because you got to call the house. No, we had a house phone. Like, hey, don't go out that house, and if I call, you better answer that fucking phone. So you could try it. You could go outside for a little bit, but you better hear that phone.
I got to be close enough to hear that phone. Yeah.
Right. You got to go to work 2 jobs, so they got after school care. You like, you ain't really fucking grounded.
And that's really kind of what he said. And that's the unfortunate part, and the lesson I took from what he said is hey, I'm not going to say there needs to be a mix of fear, but he said, I didn't fear the consequence because the consequence is I'm going to get grounded. Okay. And then I'm going to look bored, and at some point, y'all are just going to be like, hey, go outside.
Get out of my house. Don't do that shit again.
Yeah.
And you be like that.
Yeah. See, and you're like, yeah. So.
But do you know why grounding affected us more?
Because we
didn't. As soon as we got home from school, we wanted to be outside. Like, I don't want to be in this house.
Yeah,
so
that
you
was.
Take away my outside. Oh man, I'm hurting. Like, I'm hurting. Like, hey, just give me your ass up and let me go outside. Just whip me real quick and let me go outside.
And that is obviously the difference in the generation, because I can drive around my neighborhood, literally a residential neighborhood, and I can tell you that when I see the school bus, it's a bunch of kids over there. But I drive around my neighborhood on a Saturday, I don't see no kids out. Now, you drive around our neighborhood, and listen, my goal from the time the school ended till was to get outside. It was, in fact, what I most got in trouble for was not doing my homework, because I want to hurry up and get outside. I don't even want to do the homework.
I used to do the homework on the bus. Was outside. Like, I got to get this done. I want to go outside.
Yeah. And again, now we didn't have the cool stuff these kids have in their house. Yeah. So it's almost the opposite, where I have to tell my kids, hey, it's a nice Saturday day. Get outside. Go enjoy. Us, man, I wake up.
Now they be the only one out there. Like, everybody's got to go outside. You don't want to be outside by yourself.
Yeah.
When we was growing up, you couldn't walk that entire neighborhood we was in and not see somebody. You was going a bike. Somebody playing basketball. They riding bikes. They playing football. They going to store, you're gonna see somebody outside, and then
Yeah.
hey, what y'all do? Y'all going to the store? Fuck it, we going to the store to get. Everybody just goes to the store. Then I ain't got no money. So where we going anyway? Just to go explore where we lived at. You don't see nobody outside, man, because they stuck to a screen. Which I'm not mad. I want you to be stuck to this screen and run these views up.
But I mean, the difference is, and for you younger people, you hear all the stories of drinking out of water hoses, peeing outside. Yeah, because our whole goal. I listen, especially with my mother, Jacinta Jackson. I love her to death. I'm not because I go back in the house. Hey, it might be chores I need to do. It may be a minute for
hey,
it.
get in here and take the trash out. Like, fuck.
Yeah, so I'm not going back in that house. I'm not until it's time to go in.
The day is over, and I'll be praying like, please don't have to take a shit throughout the day, because I don't want to go home.
Yeah, we was probably funky. I mean, we talk about this in middle school. Every morning, we used to play football, and I'm talking about we used to get to the bus stop like an hour early to get this game. And we wonder why in middle school we ain't getting no girls, because we walking around the school funky. we funky because we done played a whole, and I'm talking about a whole football. That was it every single day. Hey, get out there, who's bringing the ball?
Listen, man, that's a life lesson right there, right? Because check it out. We played football every morning, right? Right? But 13, 14 years old, right? Right around okay, who else was 13, 14, right? Them girls was 13, 14.
Yep.
That rode our bus. So they watching the game like, ooh, nice catch, or he's athletic, or whatever, because as soon as they showed interest in us, it went from t-shirts to little collar shirts, little cologne. I'm like, hey, so-and-so said something to me. I ain't playing today, fellas. I ain't playing today. I got nice pants on.
That's when you start to spell yourself a little bit.
That's how life goes, man. Like we did that until, there's girls? Oh shit. What's that all about? You know what? I don't want to. You might be out there playing, man, and slipping bush ass. You got grass stains all over your pants. You gotta go like, man, I ain't doing that no more. Yeah, fucking up your new shoes. Like, man, I ain't playing no more. I got a little interest on this girl. Like 13, 14, that's when it started. Like, hey man, I ain't playing catch no more with y'all, man. Y'all stink. Like, I don't want to do that no more.
But man, I think the big point here is you are not beholden to the things that you saw in your house as you grew up, right? That may be what you know. And I am not saying in any way it's easy just to break those things. We've both dealt with that. But at the end of the day, you are not, just as I'll tell my kids, hey, this is the way we did Christmas. You got to mix with your partner and figure out and create a tradition for y'all. It doesn't have to be the way we do it. Now, maybe that works. Maybe, hopefully, there are some things that you carry over.
Or just go do your own thing. Like,
yeah.
And the person that showed you that tradition that way, dude, don't be mad that this person wants to do their own thing, because you had a choice. You chose to do it this way for 30 years. They say, man, we don't celebrate Christmas morning. We do it on Christmas Eve, or we do it. Yeah. Let them do their thing. That's their life. Let them do what they want to do.
100%. And that's as much as I hope that there are things with my kids where we created a legacy, and there's some things they carry over. The bigger part is I would hope that what they take, especially my boys, is, hey, be a dad, be present. I don't have all the answers, and I'm never going to. I'm not perfect in any way. And 90% of the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm trying to figure it out, just like Shaun is trying to figure it out with his kids, just like many parents. But I loved you, and I tried to be there. And even in that, as I just mentioned, I was in the military, so I'm still in the military, but I was in the military their whole life growing up. So there were times that I wasn't there. So I hope that is the lesson they take. Not, hey, dad did Christmas this way, or dad punished us this way. At the end of the day, you got to figure out what works for you. And like I said, as my son Antonio was talking about, hey, he is a not a fan, but does intend to whoop his kids. And he gave me his reason why. I was like, hey,
and maybe he realizes, by the second kid, like, oh, that didn't work. Like, you don't know until you try it.
Right.
Like,
and this is
ain't
why
no way to raise a kid and they're gonna be perfect. yes, the kid will always be perfect in your eyes, man. But we just
But they're not.
we trying our best, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we trying. We trying. We ain't no manual to life. Like I can understand if there was a manual. Like if there was and you
Do it this way.
decided not to do it with me, bro. Like yeah, you fucked my life up, but there's no manual. So I don't know if we
And the
talked about
tough
this.
part about life is some of our greatest lessons that have some of the biggest impact on our life happen when we're young and immature, right? I had my first child at an age where I wasn't, I wasn't ready. But I tried to figure it out. The same as I would tell my middle son now, as he has his first child. He's probably not, like, you can look from the outside and say he's not ready, but I can tell you that he's going to love his child, and that's all you can ask. There's I feel now, as I have an 11-month-old, I'm much more prepared, both financially and emotionally, to have a child. But a lot of people will say, "Oh, you had a child super late." Like, "Oh, you had." But now is the first time where I feel like,
I can do this.
and I'm not going to say I got it perfect, but I kind of know what I'm doing.
I want to have this child because I'm confident I'm gonna do a good job. Like I'm
Right.
ready. I'm excited. Yeah. I tell, like, I don't know if we talked about this story on the last episode, but like the way you were raised, if you have a problem with it and you're carrying it, to go address it with that person and be like,
Yeah.
this affect, because you gotta like, you can't keep carrying that with you. Like the fact that your son told you how he felt about that at 22 years old, not at 45. Like he addressed it right then and there, and that's a good thing to be able to address it, to be able to have the confidence, like, hey, it's okay to talk to my dad about this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be like, I don't even want to talk to that dude, so I'm gonna just hold on to it. Like, nah, fuck that, man. Like, you get to choose the kind of life you want to live. You can drop all that shit. Like, for the longest, I lived my life based on what I saw. So I got to a point like, hey, man, this ain't like working for me, man. Like, because everything was routine. Like, watching how my mom raised me and how she lived, and I was like, okay, that's the way I got to do it. And it's like, but that's the way she had to do it. I don't have to do it like that. Like,
Yeah.
Mama, I love you, but your life for a long time was exhausting, and I couldn't keep up with that shit the way you was doing it. Like, yeah, I understand why you live the way you live, but the next generation and the generation that don't want to do it that way.
Don't have to be old today. Yeah.
But in order for us to know we don't want to do it that way, we had to see you do it.
Yeah.
We had to
100%.
see a way of doing it to know that, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work at a job for 40 years and then just retire at 67 and be like, now what? Like, nah, fuck that, man. Like, I don't want to do that.
And I was talking to young person and person coming up on, senior year in high school, trying to figure out what they want to do. And person said, "Hey, my parents work their ass off. I don't, and barely home and tired and work one of those blue collar jobs. And I don't want to do it like that." And I said, "Listen, 2 points here. The first point is, this is the opportunity for you to, if you want to do something else, to do it. Figure out, take chances, figure out what you like, try it. And if you fail, you're at a place now where you still have a bit of a safety net. But 2, make sure you hold your parents in the esteem that they should be, because the fact that they did do those, maybe what you would call an undesirable job, that blue collar job, has allowed you the opportunities to maybe do something white collar or something that you find that fits you, right? That sacrifice of
you get to
waking up every day.
Yeah, you get to see me do this shit, so now you don't have to. All right, like, you saw me do this, so you don't have to.
And I would assume 75% of the good parents, that's what you want, right? Let me say this. I want the sacrifices I've made in life to put my kids in a position where they don't have to make those sacrifices. And I'm going to be very real with you. When I graduated, there was no money for college. There was no, hey, here's some I wanted to, and I'll flip that. My son graduated college. My daughter, my youngest daughter's in college now. I wanted them to not only have the opportunity, I wanted them to go to college. Right? My middle son didn't want to go to college. He was tired of school, and for a bit, I felt like a failure. Like, but then, and I think actually talking to you, it was, well, you still afforded the opportunity. Now, this person has to make their life, right? So I can still feel proud in, hey, I gave him the opportunity to make a choice, right? If he wanted to go to
Some
college,
people don't even have the
we had,
opportunity to make a choice. Like this, this
right,
your
we didn't
only
have it.
option.
Yeah. So us, and is we both joined the military together. But I said my senior year, graduating, like, what am I gonna do? What is there?
What's
Right? If
next?
somebody, I often say this, and I'll give you a little bit of background. Um, Me and Shaun, obviously, as we mentioned before, have been best friends for a very long time. So I have moved. I lived in Cincinnati. He lived in Florida at the time, in Jacksonville. So he calls me up. My dad was also in the Navy. Just on some, hey, can you? I want to join the Navy. My dad was a recruiter at the time. I had no plans on joining the Navy, but I had no plans on doing anything. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just kind of like, well, shit, I guess, yeah, man, let's join together. I don't have nothing else going on.
You finally got it on camera, baby. It's a fact now. You can stop that bullshit. Like I didn't tell you to do that shit. Now,
But
27 years later, I ain't got a dime. I ain't got nothing. Nothing. You're welcome, military.
but I didn't have a nest egg of money, and there was no option of, hey, why don't you fill out these college applications because we can pay for this for you. Now, I'll also say I didn't do my own homework. I didn't look at student loans and all of those things. Again, young, dumb,
It wasn't
immature.
brought up. It wasn't talked about in the house.
But
So
yeah,
you didn't
that
even know
wasn't
that was a thing.
the goal in my house was to graduate high school. That's what my mother pushed. Graduate high school. And let me say again, no knock to my mother, but I wanted to take it to the next level, right? I wanted to be able to, one, I wanted my kids to graduate college. That was my goal. I wanted all of my kids to graduate college. And like I said, as I was disappointed at my middle son, who didn't want to go to college, like I just mentioned earlier, he just got out of the military. And actually, kudos to him, love to him. He's going to college now, which I'll be honest is
Might be better
probably
because he's a
the
little
best
bit older.
decision because he has a little maturity. He's seen a little bit of the real world. Um, and I'll say, if we had gone to college at 18, we probably would have fucked that up.
Yeah, because we
I
didn't want to be in
barely went
high
to high
school.
school. Yeah,
I
so
barely. Yeah, I didn't
and
want to go to
between
high
the
school.
parties and all the stuff that I wasn't mature enough at the time that I went to college, at the time that I would have been of age to go to college, to go at that point, right? But I can take pride in I there was an opportunity provided. But all of my kids had the opportunity to go to college. I want, just like I know Shaun wants, just like I said, 75% of parents want their kids to exceed them. I want
100%.
the
Like,
sacrifices I make to allow them to have options that maybe I didn't have.
I want if I was to make $10 million in my lifetime, I want you to make 100 million because you're my
Yeah,
son. I only want I want you to have the world. Same thing with my daughter. Like, hey, yes, I'll never hate on you. Like, hey, Dad, I make 150,000 and I'm beating you now. Hell yeah,
yeah.
hell yeah. That's that I'm doing my job.
They're
Doing my
not
job.
they winning as a parent. 100%. So yeah, big, big topics today. Obviously, just parenting, talked a lot about parenting, but mostly and more about, hey, don't be afraid to make mistakes, both as a parent and in life, because we have done it. We have, and I
And I
think
still
that's
do
our
it,
point
man.
is,
I still like. But now, when I realize I made a mistake, I'll either call back and be like, you know what, forget it. Like, don't 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 pay that no mind. Basically, like, yeah, like I apologize right away. Like, hey, if that made you feel a certain type of way, I didn't
yeah,
mean it like that. I don't let the shit linger for. Because as soon as it hits my spirit, like, hey, man, maybe you should have worded that differently because he might misunderstand. I'll call right back, like, hey, I just want to make sure that you didn't think that was
yeah,
we good? Because I want him to be able to talk about something that's bothering him right then and there, and not carry the shit for
Yeah.
30 years like I did. Like, tell me if I would be the first to admit I fucked up. My bad. It won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell me this bothers me, it won't happen again. I won't do it again.
Then generational curses are real, but you have the power to break them, right? You do not have to be beholden to anything that you saw in your childhood. You're an adult. You have the room and the opportunity to make your own path. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. And again, like I said, as hopefully we've explained, we both dealt with those in our own way. But you do not have to be beholden to anything that happened in your childhood. Childhood trauma is real. Please give grace to parents because they're trying to figure it out. And like I said, even at 45, going through this with an 11-month-old, while I said I'm in a better position, I know that I don't have, and I'm sure my wife will tell you that I don't have it all figured out even now, but I am in a better position. And yeah, it's enjoy life, enjoy it in your way, right? As we kind of talked about in the past episode, the Dennis Rodman thing. There is no manual to this. The only thing you're beholden to is, I will say, be a good person, don't fuck over other people, but enjoy life. Too many of us are so concerned about what other people think that we are afraid to
You're not living your
truly
true
find our own
self. Like,
enjoyment.
you're not who you really want to be.
Yeah.
If you turn Fantasia down at the red light because someone else might hear you see, then you ain't really living. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why.
Yeah.
Like, if you like that shirt and it might be salmon with some white shorts, you're like, man, I like that. Who gives a fuck who don't like it? You ain't got to wear it. I like it. I like it. Dead ass.
So
I like it.
with that, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for all the people who showed us support and continue to rock with us. We love you truly from the bottom of our heart. Keep rocking with us. This is only going to get bigger. And like I said before, if you have something you'd like us to talk about, something for us to touch on, please do not be afraid to message. We have the Facebook group, Learn Young, Learn Fair Facebook group, where both will post this video and shorts as we go through the week. Like I said, we are both working men. We're working on our consistency as well. So that way you guys know when the new episodes are dropped, like clockwork, hey, Friday at 10 o'clock or whatever it is, or whatever works for us. We'll get to that point, I promise you. And then shorts hopefully are coming out every day. Shaun, anything to say before we get up out of here?
About the consistency and all that stuff with the podcast. Like, real quick, I'm gonna tell you how this is gonna go. Like, I prayed for this, I asked for this, and in a way, like, God be looking out for the boy. Man. He be like, all right, Shaun, if you really want it, like, I feel like when I pray for something or I ask for something, like a little angel take it up there, right? Hey, God, your favorite asking for something down there. What do you want? What do you want? He trying to do a podcast, man, and just like spread good word and stuff. Oh yeah? I tell you what, they're gonna try this 4 times. Let's see if they stick to it. Go ahead. But they're gonna put the work in, and then I'll take care of it. So I am professing that this gonna be the biggest podcast in the world, man. This is it, because I feel like what we're doing is only gonna get big. And somebody gonna tune in, and somebody knows somebody that knows somebody, and this gonna be it, man. This gonna be it, because that's how God worked for me. So it's gonna happen. So we're gonna put this out once a week, short stories, YouTube, all that stuff, and it'll go to like twice a week. And tune in, and I promise you will not be disappointed.
All right, y'all. With that, we getting out of here. Peace and love. What? I got to get this part out. Bye.